Hey everyone. In this video, I want to share with you all not only a major challenge with many power companies, but also a bit of a success story. So what you're seeing flying through the sky there, that's an Osprey. And there's some very strict regulations around migratory birds and working around and disturbing their nests. Basically, during mating season, you can't touch them unless it's an emergency. Basically, if it's on fire or if there's a major power outage. So in this particular case, what we're looking at here, that's a youth. You can tell by the orange colored eyes and a lot of the white in its plumage. Off to the side, it's late in the season, so that's already an abandoned egg. We initially got the call. There was pretty good arc flash across two phases. The side of the nest extinguished pretty quick, but there's some burn marks on a lot of the branches. A lot of them did fall to the ground. Many of the branches are still in contact with the high voltage, although the line did trip open. So before we're allowed to touch anything, we did have to contact our head office. We have an individual that works directly with, I'm not sure who they would be, but someone that deals with the environment and animal protection, for lack of better words. So we did get permission to attempt to protect the lines. We didn't want to tear the nest down. In fact, we're not even allowed to tear the nest down where there was still youth inside. Right there, you can see the burn marks even on the insulator. So we grounded the system and we attempted at our very best to cover absolutely everything that was energized. It's a difficult situation because even in this case, once you're up working around the nest, it's very common for the parents to abandon the nest, to basically not come back. Throughout the video, you can hear and see the parents circling the area, which is a good sign. It means they haven't completely abandoned the nest as of yet. So we try to work very quickly, and we cover up absolutely everything. You can even see the cutout. We took some squirrel guards and made some hoods over top of the cutout, so as branches fall, basically they're going to be deflected off, not short out. We used some gray 20 kV hose guard on all the primary, the lightning arrestor. We used some hard cover up on the primary itself. We basically covered every bit of that 7200 volts we could without interfering with the safety of our system. It's difficult because in one sense we've had situations where we didn't have permission to do anything. We closed the line back in, and a day later the whole nest caught fire. We did not want that to happen. You can see my partner is also not using any power tools. We're trying to make as little noise as possible throughout this job. I was speaking to our individual at the head office who said, we were there a little less than an hour. It was very likely that the parents would ultimately abandon the nest. The egg wasn't a major concern, as it was deemed that it was already abandoned given the time of year and the fact that there's also a fairly large youth in there. They typically hatch within a few days apart, so further proof that egg is abandoned. At this point now, so we did have to take a work permit. We grounded the lines out and had to put all that cover up on by hand. The plan was, on the work order, we instructed for a work permit to be held later on in the year, close to the winter, to dismantle all this stuff by hand again. We should definitely don't want to leave all that junk all around the cutouts. Not that it's going to interfere with anything. In fact, that could probably stay there forever. But bit of an eyesore with all that orange up in the air as well for the customer. This typically isn't a problem in my area. Usually it's more coastal areas where this is an issue. There's a lot of areas in my province where it is a major problem, and in those areas, whenever there's a dead end like this, they'll plant a pole close by and purposely build a structure for the Osprey. Another thing they'll do is they'll put those little spiky things. You see them in many cities to keep the pigeons away and whatnot, but they'll put spikes or triangle shaped things, basically some hardware up on top of the cross arms to prevent the osprey from building the nests. Right there you can see a stick almost jammed right in the insulator. That's something that's very common in other parts of the province. In my area here, like I said, that's never an issue. So I did return a couple days later, and I did see a bird or an osprey on there. You can see the white dots in the plumage. I called our head office and I said, I think the parents came back, and I give her a couple shots, and she did say it's very common for the youth to stand on top of the nest like that and kind of practice flapping their wings around. It was still likely that the parents did not return. So I was a bit excited when I seen this shot. I have a real soft spot for animals. Did some chat GPT stuff, sent some pictures, and it kind of come back and said, yeah, that's likely a youth. But I did hang around a bit longer, and after a few minutes up in the sky, 2 ospreys started circling. And again,
Okay.
I was kind of doing some computer work too, so I wasn't sure if this guy hovering over top was the youth again, or if that was one of the parents that came back. I was really hoping to be able to confirm this again. That looks like the youth, but the biggest tell is with the eye color. The eyes on the adults are yellow. And then all of a sudden, the one that was flying really high. It's not likely for a youth to be able to be that good of a flyer this early in his life. So I was getting hopeful, and eventually we ended up getting the money shot. This one here, you can see how black the wings are compared to the other one. So I was quite certain that the youth maybe ducked down into the nest. Still wasn't 100% sure, and then we get this guy, which is awesome news. So you can see in this next shot, on the right we've got the parent, on the left we've got the youth, and up in the sky the other parent is kind of circling around. So with all that disturbance, it was a success story.